This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is. How you doing, my man? You doing good?
Good. Oh, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. I can't complain. Although last night kind of sucked. They didn't play very well, but you know.
What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah. I mean, I picked Denver in 6, so I'm not gonna act like, oh my God, I was shocked that they lost and all that kind of stuff. But it is what it is.
By the way, Denver is really good. This kind of got lost, and we had a lot of conversations about Embiid and Jokic and Denver and all of this, and people think I hate Denver.
By the way, they haven't let it go on this show.
Oh yeah.
I
was like, I'm sure they haven't, and they shouldn't, because, like I said, it's fun, and I still do believe that Embiid is the better player. I will not relinquish that, but I will say Denver has consistently been the best team in the West, and arguably, other than the Celtics, the best team in the league throughout, like the whole season. And so,
the Sixers don't have Jamal Murray, dude.
Correct.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
it's a wash between. I don't give a shit about Embiid or Jokic. That's we're splitting hairs.
Jokic is really, really good.
He's phenomenal.
He's such a unique player too.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. But both of them are phenomenal. But neither one of them are winning shit. If it's the other guys around them that have to really get it done, and his supporting cast is superior. To Embiid.
They have a complete team, and Aaron Gordon's a complete mismatch for the Heat. They don't have a guy that's able to guard him down low. They just don't. They've tried a lot of different options. I just don't really know what the answer. A lot of these dudes they play are too small for him, or they're not.
They went cheap and didn't want to pay for a power forward, and here's where you needed PJ.
And the thing about it is, it hasn't hurt them really until this series.
Because there's not a lot of size. The size is not a thing that much in the NBA. In fact, they couldn't play Love in the last series because Boston was countering with a small lineup.
Exactly.
But now they're playing Denver, and they're long everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
It's like Murray's a 6'4" guard, and then you've got Porter who's long, and so you've got a bunch of guys on that team that they're just a pain in the ass, to match up. Gordon, Gordon was miscasted in Orlando because you're trying to make him a frontline player when his offensive skills don't set it up. But where he's at now, that he gets to play, what's the name of the Australian dude that everybody likes? That's with the Thunder and where is he at now? The long-haired guy that he kind of reminds me of.
Adams?
Yeah, he kind of reminds that he'll up anything underneath, that he'll the power game, rebounding, all of that. And Aaron Gordon, all he has to do is hang around the paint, and Jokic is going to find your ass, and you're going to pick up easy baskets, dude.
So it's interesting as you're discussing this. It's kind of like the NFL, but in all sports go through waves, right? And the current wave is you got to have superstars and shooters, right? And your wing players, all of a sudden, the 4 position has often translated to being really a second power, small forward, a second forward. You essentially have, we're going to have our 2 guards, and then we're going to have 2 small forwards as our wing, and then we're going to have a center. And so Boston has that formula essentially, right? You've got a lot of times they play the big lineup against Philly, but otherwise they're playing, a combination of Smart, of Derek White, of Tatum, and Brown. And those are their 4 other than Horford, right? And all those guys are essentially guards, big guards. So that's essentially the new era. But when you play a team that can actually play you out of it, like Denver, who has a true 4 in Aaron Gordon, a true 5 who can pass the ball, and Jokic, it really tests you. And there's not a lot of teams that have a true 4 and a true 5. But still have the ability, like Denver does, to shoot and beat you from the 1 through 3 spots, with Michael Porter, with a Jamal Murray. They're just such a deep team, and they have such incredible talent all the way through. And so we'll see. I mean, I'm not writing the Heat off yet. I think people will be foolish to do that given what they've done throughout the season, but they clearly have
they got to win tomorrow. I mean, on Sunday, they got to win game 2.
I'd say the series doesn't start until
they're not beating Denver 4 out of 5. If
the
they
series
lose
doesn't start until somebody loses at home.
Right. No, but if you don't win on Sunday, you have no shot in this series unless there's, Jokic blows out a knee or Jamal Murray or something that just completely opens the door for them. I think the Heat has to win Sunday. They have to win Sunday.
It would certainly help. I don't think it's a must-win just because I just saw the Celtics come back from 3-0 and nearly win that series.
Denver. No. Denver's better than Boston, better than Miami, better than Milwaukee. They're better, dude. You can't screw around with this team.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, they toyed with the Lakers, bro. They toyed with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Phoenix too.
Yeah. To me, you have to win on Sunday. If not, I don't think you have a shot in hell at all. I would completely write them off if they lose. And by the way, Butler is injured because he did not have a free throw and he did not play like his hair was on fire. And it's the finals. Something's going on with Jimmy Butler. This reminded me of X. The same shit. I can have my issues with X about the stupid contract issues every year and
you do
field issues, and I've had and also other injuries that he's had too. But I can compartmentalize and take all that bullshit away. And I never used any of that last year. You know that. Mm-hmm. And I said something's going on with X.
Right.
That's not 100% because there's no way you're beating X that badly. No freaking way you're beating him that badly.
Right.
And so to me, when I saw Butler play like this in game 1, this is not game 7 that you're all worn out. I got it then. I was okay. Maybe he's a little worn out. I'm starting to think Butler's injured. What do you think?
Yeah, he probably is. He probably is banged up. But to be frank, everybody's banged up. And I know Butler.
I think he's injured.
He may be injured too, right? But the reality is, if we're keeping it consistent, and I love Jimmy Butler. I told you guys, he's my favorite player that doesn't play on my favorite team. Sixers fan, obviously, I got affinity for them. I love Jimmy Butler. Never should have got rid of him. But we didn't make the excuse for Joel Embiid when he had an injured knee that he's playing on or sprained ACL.
But Joel wasn't
right? Huh?
Embiid and Butler are not complaining about
Correct.
Injuries.
Like Correct. Neither one is complaining. My point is that everybody eviscerated the Sixers. They didn't say, oh, well, they get a pass because Embiid's hurt. No, they still got eviscerated. Jason Tatum sprains his ankle or whatever he did. And to me, the Celtics should not have gotten an excuse. They put themselves in that situation. They get what they get. Celtics fans may have used it as an excuse, but to me, it's not a narrative. Jimmy's hurt, but he's been hurt since late in last series. And to me, that is not an excuse. It's probably a valid reason, but it's not an excuse for you to lose the series. I don't think that's something you say, we don't win the series.
In their case, yes. See, I think all of these things are completely different. You're lumping them all together. I don't. Jimmy is one star on this team, the only star. Without that star shining bright, they have no shot at winning. Embiid was hurt. There's no doubt. But I also watched Embiid last year all fucked up with a cast in his hand, and he played his freaking ass off last year.
But he's just built that way. I mean, he's built that way.
But my point is that I can use those excuses for those two dogs because those guys aren't pointing at their injuries as excuses, and they're just fighting through it. And Embiid's issue wasn't Embiid. It's what's around him, dude. That it's just not enough around him. And that's his problem. Embiid is not the problem with the Philadelphia 76ers. It's the cast around him that hasn't been good enough. And even when they did have it, because when they had Butler, they could have made a decision to kind of make the right decisions, and they didn't make the right decisions there. Now with Tatum, this has been a flaky team for years now. You know what I'm saying? And he's the one that was sitting on the podium whining about his ankle and all that stuff. And then Jaylen Brown had to point about his ankle and all about, Tatum's ankle. Even Brown was whining about Tatum's ankle. And to me, that's what I can defend Embiid and Butler and say, hey, those guys were injured, but those guys are warriors. Okay, so I'm going to give them the excuse because they deserve it. Jason Tatum, or how about Jaylen Brown? Brother, you didn't have an ankle issue, and you choked that same night the same way Tatum did, just like White did, so just like the dude with the green hair, Marcus Smart. You know, they all choked. They all shot poorly. So they don't get the excuse because I still question who they are. I don't question Embiid and Butler. I just don't. I really don't. I look at them differently. I don't know about you, but that's why when you were lumping them together, I kind of think, and Jimmy's just all by himself, dude. You know, although Bam played well yesterday. Got to give Bam a lot of love yesterday. Did well.
I'm going to learn a lot about this Heat team on Sunday.
All right, I want to find out something from you.
Okay.
So Ben Simmons is looking swole. So do they have weights for the heart?
As you know, as my Sixers fandom, I don't have a very strong affinity for Ben Simmons. And Mama told me if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And so I'm just gonna let Ben Simmons.
You know, I've been around sports a little longer than you, but you've been around a long time, and you're going into these locker rooms. I'm just wondering, are there any weights for your heart? You know, to courage.
I have not seen any.
Do you have to go to the Wizard to get that?
To me, that's something you either have or you don't. And so I've wiped Ben Simmons' conversation from my memory, and I will say, as much as we give Harden flack and he hadn't shown up in the playoffs, the Sixers absolutely won that trade because they got off of Ben Simmons' contract and they got something of value for him. Which at the time,
about to get out of the Harden contract if they want now. If he moves on,
they'll have a decision. I don't think they're going to give him the max, but I think it's smart. I think they'll tell you to take the contract at the value we want it, or if you don't really value winning, go to Houston and take as much money as you want and have your retirement tour for the next few years.
All right, you're getting the questions. I get the questions. So when does Dalvin Cook become a Dolphin? Go ahead, tell us.
I don't know that this is a lot to happen like a lot of fans assume it is. Like I know Dalvin's from this area, and so like many people around this area, he probably would love to play here. There's no state taxes. It makes a lot of sense. But I think the Dolphins are probably comfortable with their running back room. They're probably not going to spend a lot of money on him. And Minnesota probably doesn't want to give him away for anything. And so I think the interesting conversation is, do they, a lot of running backs have been sort of, I don't want to use the term bullied, but sort of pressured into taking some sort of pay cut and say, hey, I don't know what Dalvin Cook's making, maybe $11 or $12 million. Hey, trim that number to 8 and we'll guarantee it and you're good for the year. Cook, of course, wants his full 12. I'm just saying of a random number. And so you have to take your chances. Do you want to say no, call their bluff, see if they keep you on the roster for 12 or cut you and you see if you can make 8 on the open market? I'm not sure if he makes 8 on the open market. I'm just like putting up variable numbers. I don't know what the numbers actually are. And so that's why it's a tough decision. Like I mentioned this earlier to you guys. I was on GMFB with Aaron Jones, who's the Green Bay Packers running back. And he took a $5 million pay cut. I think it actually was $6 million pay cut earlier this offseason. He was set to make $17 million. He came off a year where he played all the games this season. He was very productive. But the Packers essentially were like, we're not paying you 17. And so you can take this 11, we'll guarantee it, or good luck on the free agency market. And he said, you know what? Free agency market is not looking great for us. I'm going to take my 11 and keep it moving.
So can you explain Saquon Barkley? Like he turned down one that was like 14 or 15 from the Giants.
Right.
And it's like, yo, dude, you're an injury-prone back. I get it. You're insulted by the tag to the quarterback because I think that's what it is. Yeah. He thought he was going to get the tag, and then the money would have been a little better. But now the quarterback got the tag, and now he refused that deal. And I'm like, yo, dude, they're not going to be out on the open market giving you $50 million. So running.
It's just the value of running backs these days. Like teams have decided that running backs are the least valuable position outside of specialists. Outside of specialists and like very, very
safety,
like very small role positions like fullback or like nose tackle. There's no other position that are making as little as running backs. And so they've clearly
and
been
it's used up. Holy crap.
Right. And so I get it. Like Saquon Barkley's probably like, man, I am the offense of the New York Giants. I'm seeing Daniel Jones get 40, 45 million. You telling me I got to swallow this 10, 11 and do it with a smile and nothing guaranteed beyond this year? It doesn't seem fair, but that's the reality. And so Dalvin Cook's going to have a decision to make. But the problem is, I just don't know if there's a ton of money just sitting out there in free agency for Dalvin Cook. So, like, if you really just want to be out of Minnesota,
and not for that position.
Exactly. And so,
I hate to say it, both Dalvin Cook and Saquon have a rich injury history.
Right.
That will scare you too in a contact position.
Absolutely. And so, like, for example, I would be shocked if, quote unquote, the Vikings released Dalvin Cook and then he made $10+ million on a new deal a year. It just would surprise me. Now he could certainly sign somewhere, get an incentive-based deal, be somewhere that he maybe would rather be, maybe Miami, maybe somewhere else. But I just don't think that he makes anywhere close to what he's making currently. And so that's why he has a real decision to make. And that's why I don't think it's a lock that Minnesota says, hey, we're just going to cut you.
Yeah. And by the way, you're just going to go with Madison? No, dude, be smart. Have a couple of backs. You need a couple of backs. And Minnesota, you're really not. Are you that desperate to get rid of the money? You got plenty of money still under the cap right now. You're not.
Right. And they're going through a little bit of a transition. You know, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa, I think, is a really smart GM, and they do a lot of things by the numbers. And so they got rid of Zadarius Smith. His number became a little too high. He wanted to restructure. They felt like his age and where he was in this contract probably wasn't worth it. They moved him for a pick, right? Dalvin Cook, I'm sure if there was a team out there willing to give them some sort of compensation, you know, whether it's a 5th or 6th round pick at this stage, they'd probably consider it. But to get rid of him for free and not really get anything back from, I don't know if they're at that stage of their relationship. But I could be wrong.
I think they restructure. I think it's what you said at the beginning.
Yeah. I think that's the most likely option. But like I said, I understand. I don't want to crush dreams. I know Dolphins fans were like waiting July 1st. Now it's July 2nd. Where's Dalvin Cook? He's supposed to be here. And like I said, maybe he still gets released and maybe it still happens. But I never saw it as this quote unquote July 1st happens. The Dolphins have money. All of a sudden he's going to get released. The Dolphins are going to sign him and everything's gravy. I just never saw that. I don't think
people realize that it was probably really hard for Chris Greer on draft day when the coach says, no, I want this guy. And it probably pained him to even use a 3rd rounder on the guy because Chris Greer doesn't like to use high picks on running backs. He doesn't like to spend a lot of big money on running backs. So I would imagine it hurt him to even use that 3rd rounder. So that's what I kind of tell fans out there, that they're not going to trade any picks for this guy and they're not going to pay him money. So if he wants money, he's not coming back to his hometown because if anything, they're going to want low-hanging fruit. And I don't think that's what Dalvin Cook is looking for unless he says, okay, these guys are a Super Bowl contender. Here's my chance to get the ring and let me go and I'll take the 1-year deal and I'll go there. But
yeah, to me, that's the scenario it would happen if Dalvin saying, no matter what, I'm going to Miami, the Vikings somehow do release him for nothing. And he takes a very significant pay cut.
$4 million, something like that.
I just don't see a lot of history. Maybe Dalvin's different. I don't see a lot of history of guys saying, I'm going to take a huge pay cut to go play for my hometown team.
Yeah. That's just not normal. By the way, A-Chain's deal, Aaron Wilson just reported 4 years, $34.4 million, and he got $954,000 as a signing bonus.
34 sounds a little off. Maybe 3.4 million.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it is. He probably
I was like maybe 3.4 or I don't know. The 3rd round pick, he's probably not making a 34. Probably
3.4. That's 3.4 makes sense.
Yes.
My bad. Because it's a $900,000 signing bonus.
Yeah.
You don't get $34 million and get $900,000.
No. Usually 3rd round picks are making somewhere around a million.
I'm right or wrong. He needs to swing the
I was like 34.
One
But yeah, a lot of these rookie deals are already kind of pre-structured, and so you already kind of know. Sometimes you have to work with offsets. Like if you cut this dude before the end of the contract, does he get to double dip with another team, or is it the other team?
Is that what you're telling Dolphin fans that's going on with Cam now? That's probably more language with Cam Smith than money.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, it's absolutely language. How much of the contract is guaranteed? Is there offset language? Do you have to come for off-season workouts? Is there any bonuses for different things like that? Like they're small language things, but for the most part, the actual number is already set. You're going to make, I don't know how much second round pick makes. Let's say 4 years, $8 million. Like you can't argue for, I want 8.5. No, it's structured pretty much for a reason. You get your number. Now you can argue for guarantees. You can argue for when you get the signing bonus, how much maybe the quote unquote signing bonus is, that sort of thing, in like offset language. So that's usually the only thing that holds up negotiations.
Anything going to be available now June 1st? Forget the Dalvin Cook stuff, but any other kind of situations like Dalvin Cook around the league that could open up an opportunity for Miami at another position?
I don't know that there's a lot waiting out there, to be honest. The thing about the June 1st date is that's when money becomes available for other teams, but teams can designate players for June 1st cuts in April and in March, so a lot of the guys who are going to be cut have already been cut. I don't think there's going to be a huge influx of dudes getting cut now that it's quote unquote June 1st. Now, you get to training camp and you see guys and you say, hey, this vet's not going to make our team. We give them an opportunity to hit the market early. Sometimes that happens. Teams often save some money. Like I know people look at the figure they got from Byron Jones, $13 million. It's like, we have $13 million to spend. Well, teams like to have $5, $6, $7 million kind of sitting in the bank around the start of the season for kind of emergency fund. Something happens, somebody gets hurt, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to sign somebody around cut down day that costs a little bit money. You have that flexibility. And so I don't anticipate them using all 13 million here. They'll use some of it to sign their rookies, which they have, not a lot of money. But then maybe they make a signing or two before camp. But I don't think there's going to be this huge spending spree of this money.
Byron Jones officially cut today. Do you know anything about it? Where he's at health-wise, future, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just to be honest, I have heard nothing about Byron Jones. I heard initially that he wasn't, like at that time, wasn't planning to retire, but I also have heard nothing as far as free agency interest, where he is on his health process, where he is with the Dolphins and how their end is, if there's any, type of litigation he's trying to go through there. I don't know. I've literally heard nothing from Byron Jones. I've reached out to some people who know him well, and he's just, what I understand, he's not really in the mood of talking. And so we'll just wait until he wants to talk or wants to show where he's at. And so in the meantime, we're just kind of a little bit in the darkness about what's next for Byron Jones.
Has he bought a new Porsche?
I don't know that either. I did hear rumblings that he sold a car or two. I'm not sure which ones, but I don't know if that's related at all to this injury.
He sold one to a current Dolphin.
I'm not sure who he sold it to, but I was told that he sold one or two of his cars.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Well, I mean, you got to plan for the future now that you're not, in football. You got to start cutting back here. Not the same amount of money's coming in, so. I like it. Byron is planning ahead for the future, cutting down on the overhead. Very smart man. Very smart man. All right, what do you got going on in the NFL Network so folks can check you out?
Frank Vogel getting hired by the Suns. Just news just came out. For me, I will. So it's the weekend. I'm going to hang out with some family and some friends this weekend. Next week, we gear up for Dolphins minicamp. And so I'll be out there every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You'll have some TV coverage on both NFL Network and our NFL Plus app, both Tuesday and Wednesday, and likely Thursday as well. So definitely heavy Dolphins coverage next week. So tune in to NFL Network, NFL Plus, and we'll give you your last taste of Dolphins in-person access until training camp. And so big week for anybody who's wants that final nuggets about their team before everybody goes on their summer vacation.
Can I ask you for a favor on behalf of the entire Dolphin Nation? I'll do some of it on my own and try to find out. It's time to find out what's going on with the logo. Is there any plans for a change? Because we are in that 10-year period of we're in the window when they can make the change if they want, or maybe there's some plans to make the change in the next year or 2 or 3 or something. But I'm wondering because it's a sore subject for a lot of people in the Dolphin Nation, including yours truly. So I'm wondering if there's any movement at all on the logo.
We will see. I may ask a person or two to see what's going on there.
Okay, you got the weekend to do it. We'll catch up next week.
All right, man. Enjoy yourself.
All right. You got it. Let's go. Get the investigation going. That is Cameron Wolfe, baby. KSDT CPAs. Listen, I don't want you dodging the government. You better pay your damn taxes. So here we go. Okay. Home business. There you go. There's the QR code. You can use it. Reach out to our great people. They've got offices in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. They're going to open one up soon in North Carolina, or I think it's about opened already. They opened another one also I can't talk about. That's, but they're expanding all over the place. I mean, they are just like, they're like dinky doggy, just growing and growing and growing. That might be too much of an old reference for you all out there, but they're growing. Like, it's out of control, that kind of stuff. And they do an amazing job. So if you want to help your business thrive, not just survive, reach out to the great people at KSDT CPA. They can help you in so many ways, from insurance to planning to payroll to, of course, dealing with what's going on right now in the economy and seeing where your business is at. You want to know what your business is valued, all of those things. Reach out to the great people at KSDT CPAs. And if you miss the deadline, they can get you the extension. Or I know that Biden got cut some of his money on his tax audits that he was going to send out because he was hiring a whole bunch of new people for the IRS. Well, maybe he's not hiring as many, but apparently they're going to go after people that have not paid their taxes in the past years. So if you're one of those, you need to call KSDT, use that QR code right now, or call them and tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. KSDT CPAs. 305-670-3370.